Thank you, David. And I look out here and I see so many amazing people and amazing friends, and I am honored and I'm humbled to receive this award. So thank you so much, WSNA. They told me when I got here I needed to do a speech, but give me a microphone and I'm okay. I want to thank my family. They're sitting right over there, my son and my daughter-in-law, my cousin, my grandson, my husband, and my friend Donnie and her husband John, who came from California. We graduated from nursing school together in 1984. So thank you. I love you, and I love your support. I want to thank the Rainier Nurses Association for nominating me for this award. I want to recognize my friend Tammy Green, who heads up that organization. Tammy, where are you? We served in the legislature together, and I tell you, when we served, we had 9 nurses in the legislature, and we were a force. We were a force. Nurses make amazing legislators. Thank you, Lynette, for running. I know what you had to do to put yourself out there, but I am encouraging you to look at your local legislative districts, and I want you to run for office. It is very important that that we're down there. I remember I had an AP reporter one time that took me aside, and he said, this place has become a little more gentle since we had so many nurses here. And the best part that we could do is we could bring it down to reality. We could stand up and give a floor speech, and people would actually change their votes because we could bring it down to reality. What we did is we put our patients in the center, and we made decisions around our patients. In the legislature, we put our constituents in the center, and we made decisions around our constituents. Wouldn't that be nice if that was actually happening in the world today? But we did it, and we did a good job. Every single nurse in the legislature was in a leadership position. Talked to Tammy tonight, and she said basically the nursing process is what works and to get things done. And my favorite quote from Tammy is like, we know how to make people take their medicine. So we were actually really, really good, and I was only down there because of WSNA. I mean, they encouraged me to run, and they were there with the signs, they were there with their PAC committee, they were there with what I needed to have, and when I would have a down day, I would have a down day, but WSNA pulled me up. I do want to thank my husband. I remember one time I was in bed, I had the covers over my head, and I said, I don't think I can do this. I can't get up and doorbell another day. And he said to me, Dawn, people are counting on you. So I got out of bed, and I did what I had to do. So, and for all the signs that you pounded in, I love you and thank you. I think the things that nurses share is a sense of justice. We actually see on a daily basis what happens. What propelled me to Olympia is watching patients that came into the ER and they waited too long because they didn't have insurance, and they died. I remember when I get mad, I cry, and I remember taking a patient back to the ICU to die because he waited too long to come into the cath lab. And I came out just hopping mad. It is just wrong in the state of Washington, or the United States of America, to have that happening. So I think that's what propels us, is that sense of justice. And each one of you have a patient that you can remember that you made a difference in their lives because your sense of justice went into gear, and you did what you had to do to make sure that patient was okay. I saw my professors from the University of Washington, Tacoma tonight, and thank you so much. I want you to know that you made me fall in love with nursing. I had been an ICU nurse, and of course, ICU nurses, when you're brand new, you think you're great, you think you're a doctor, and you think you're wonderful, and really, University of Washington, Tacoma, and the amazing faculty there made me fall in love with the profession of nursing, and I thank you for doing that for me. I see my colleagues here from Good Sam supporting me. We did have a rock'em sock'em negotiations this year. You guys, you ran the charge. I was just the old gal with being the mentor and saying, I don't think you can do that. Guess what? They did it. So you guys, thank you. And we set a really high bar for staffing in the state of Washington in the contract that we negotiated. And we negotiated it because we were WSNA. And there are nurses here from my former life. I love you all, and I thank you for being here. It's great to see you. I have my board of nursing colleagues here, and thank you so much for coming. It's been very interesting to be on the regulatory side of nursing and looking at public safety all along, supporting nurses. And I want you to know that the Board of Nursing has nurses representing nurses. We understand where they're at, and I'm very proud to work on the Substance Use Disorder Review Panel to make sure nurses keep working when they're working on their illness, on their disease, and supporting them through that. So it's been, I love the work, and I love supporting nurses. You know, WSNA, thank you all the way for, I was actually in the nursing organization when I was a student nurse. I just believe that we do so much more together. I used to tell my colleagues at Good Sam that, you know, they don't mess with me. I know the rules, I know the contract, and so when they try and do something, I'm like, you can't do that, and they don't do it. So, you know, you just need to know, your rights and need to know what your contract says and stand up for yourself. Sally Watkins is the person that called me and said, what do you think about being on the board of nurses? It was the nursing commission then. We'll be happy to support you. I didn't start that by myself. That was Sally who called me and said, we'll write you a letter of recommendations. And I'm like, I think I can do that. So that's why I'm there. It's because of people supporting people. I mean, anybody who gets an award like this stands on the shoulders of some pretty amazing people. I'm trying to think they told me when I came here, Dawn, you have to give a speech. So I've been making some notes like, I guess better make a speech. I want to also just talk about what it means to be a nurse. When I used to talk to nursing graduate classes, is a silly quote, but it was June Carter Cash that basically said, I'm just trying to matter. And every single person in this room has mattered to countless, countless lives across the state of Washington. When I was getting ready to retire, I should have retired probably about 10 years ago, but I just couldn't let go. And I worked in the cath lab the last part of my acute care nursing career. And in December, I had this adorable 86-year-old little lady that I went down to pick up to the cath lab. And her little hubby was there, and I said, give him a great big kiss, and we'll get you back. And we took her into the cath lab and did the cath, and she had a very, very, very crucial lesion that was pretty risky to fix. My team jumped into what they needed to do. We did the work, and I took that little lady back to her husband, and she got to go home for Christmas. And I'm like, I just can't retire. I just can't do it. Not everybody gets to go home at night and say, we saved a life today. And we all have that privilege to be at the side of people that in a hard part of their life that we do make the difference, we do matter. So I'm grateful for this award, and I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you very much.